Manchester City 2, Leicester City 0. A big away win, an important away win for Pep Guardiola's men. Tottenham at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. They went behind. They deservedly got back in front, but right at the end, a late dagger from Larson dampens. It's not the New Year's, it's not quite New Year's Eve, but we're right by New Year's Eve. It dampens the festive celebrations further for Tottenham, who really needed a win themselves. We're going to delve into this in more detail. Make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure the bell notifications are turned on if you haven't done so already. And of course, check out NordVPN. You shouldn't be on the internet without having protection. You need to make sure that everything you're doing online is private. That's from marketing companies, from fraudsters, maybe even from people you share the internet with. And by the way, if you're not the person who pays the bill, they can see everything you go. Even if you search things on incognito or you go on private on your phone, the bill payer still sees. The marketing companies see. Google still sees. So go check out NordVPN now and protect yourself online by scanning the QR code on the screen. I want to start with Manchester City today and two players I really want to focus on here. The first, look, I've been saying for weeks that he should be getting game time. Me and Hamza had a big conversation about City have tried everything possible to make their team click. And we saw young McAtee come on as a sub for Phil Foden. He looked quick, sharp, decisive on the ball, and really got the move going for that second goal, which I think really killed off any chance Leicester had of coming back into this game. And Leicester had chances. Leicester were in this game. They were probably the better performer over the course of 90 minutes. But what City have in abundance is quality. So young McAtee, I thought was excellent, a great cameo appearance. He needs more game time. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. He's got to get more game time, especially with City still looking a little bit leggy. The young man did very, very well indeed. I also want to shout out Savio or Savio, whichever name people want to go by. We know he's talented. We know that he's got great skill. He looks the part, but there's been a lack of delivery from this man all season. Today, that is what individually, the team weren't great still, and there's loads for City to improve on. I'm sure Pep is going to say that in his own words. But I mentioned McAtee already. Savio today deserves a lot of credit. Played well, was dangerous, but he had those two moments, that final ball for Haaland's goal, and more importantly, a few people are calling it a tap-in. I think that is massively disrespectful. Wasn't a great save from the goalkeeper, but he still has to put some height on it. There's pace, there's accuracy. Gives Leicester no chance. Their keeper no chance of saving it. Gets his first goal for the club. And look, from a City perspective, you're going to hope now that he goes on from strength to strength from this position, which he may do. He may not. He may do. But I really do think if you're someone that's bought stocks in Savio, I wouldn't be cashing in on them just yet. But of course, for an attacker, delivery matters more than anything else. That matters more than the eye test. It matters more than the step-overs and the drag-backs. Because you know that by him. He don't celebrate when he beats a man in a dribble and his pass goes out for a throw-in. His cross goes out for a throw-in. He celebrates when he actually sets up goals and when he actually scores goals. It's the most important thing. So he needs a lot of credit today. I personally thought he had a very good game indeed. In terms of the match, look, City were more clinical than Leicester, and that was a decisive factor. Every City fan worth their salt is still going to have a level of concern about the performance. Still going to be slightly worried about the amount of ball that Leicester had and the abundance of chances. One came from a really poor back header. It was a header, wasn't a pass, from Guardiola. Good save from the keeper. I thought Vardy should have done better. There were a couple of real scrappy kind of crosses where the ball's ricocheting. One hit the post. There was a flick on the goal line, really weak flick on, but it was well cleared. And then Vardy had an absolute sitter, which he should be burying, that went over. Those elements will definitely concern City. However, a win is important to start building that little bit of confidence, a clean sheet. It was away from home as well. And I think Pep, maybe like Ruben Amorim and a few other managers right now, could just do with a week of training and that's going to come soon, where clubs are going to get like a week to train and work on things. Couple that with a few wins. And I've said it all along, City deserve criticism for this terrible run that they've been on. But the idea that this confirms they're done, they're finished, they're never going to be back, I've always felt that that was a massive, massive overstatement. So congratulations to Manchester City today. A very important win. A couple of players getting very important performances and goals. Savio, McAtee, as I mentioned already. Haaland, when we call it a drought. For Haaland, it's a massive drought. For most strikers, 4 games isn't too long. So, yeah, fair play to him picking up his goal as well. In the other game, before I bring out the panel, because it isn't going to be the longest show in the world today because the other game's kicking off. I can't believe they've set the games up to be this close to each other. They do not know that we make content after games. It's terrible. On Tottenham, it's hard to talk about Tottenham because I often feel disrespectful just for telling the truth. This is a team with some decent players, but it's a side that lacks the ability to manage games. They really do. First goal, you can't do too much about it. A well-worked set piece, an excellent shot, you concede. That happens. That happens. I think you can nitpick, but that happens. They then actually fight their way back into the game. They score from an excellent corner. Then Wolves have all the ball. Then they go, well, they get a penalty and miss it, and I felt like justice was done. It wasn't a penalty for me. And then a lovely work goal from Spurs right at the end of the second half. They go 2-1 up. And you think, okay, you're better than Wolves. You've got a better squad than Wolves. You've got better players than Wolves, by and large. There's a few examples where Wolves are better. See the game out. The second half, far too open. Far too much of a basketball match. Wolves being allowed at White Hart Lane far too much of the ball, far too much respect. And I thought it was really poor from them. The equalizing goal from Larson, that dagger to make Spurs bottle it late. The pass was decent, but the finish from that angle was genuinely spectacular. I'm not going to blame the goalkeeper, even though it was at his near post, because that ball was hit with absolute venom. Absolute venom. And I don't think there's much he or any goalkeeper could have done in that scenario. But it's another poor day for Tottenham. And I know there'll be some Spurs fans in the comment section, I haven't quite looked yet, that will say, Terry, well, what about your team? Well, I criticize my team. I condemn my team. I criticize my team. I am seeing a few of those comments. It's irrelevant to talking about Spurs. What I'm not doing is saying, look how good my team is compared to yours. That's when your argument, your rebuttal would hold water, but it does not. This Tottenham team is just a shambles. It really, really is. So the volume of leads and goals they leak is crazy. But look, Big Ange looks like he's still got the backing, and long may it continue as far as I'm concerned. I really, really stand by that. Luke, thank you for asking everybody to hit the like button. Jerome here says, well, at least we didn't not lose, considering all Spurs fans were saying we were going to lose. Players gave everything, lots of tired legs on the pitch. Do you know what, Jerome, you put on a great point there. I don't think that these Spurs players are not playing for the manager. I think it's just these tactics. I think it is just the way he says it himself. It's just who we are, mate. It's very much that. It frustrates me. But you're never going to win like this. It's never been done in the Premier League where a team wins even cup trophies where they don't know how to manage games. And I know talking about game management becomes a bit of a cliche at times, but I just think there's so much truth to it. It's just so poor, so regularly. And I can see the frustrations. Equally, I don't necessarily think you're going to become an amazing team if Ange goes, but I think you need someone that knows how to manage the size of the club that you are and the type of squad that you have. Talk about the cheats. Nobody cares about Spurs. Who are you calling cheats? You're calling City cheats. We spoke about them already. That's who you're referring to. But what did they cheat with today? I want to know. Let me know. I don't know what they did. I don't know what you're kind of talking about. Terry, what about the injury crisis? Spurs have got a lot of injuries. That's a very, very fair point. My rebuttal to that is that Spurs without injuries, barring the opening 10 games of last season, have also had the same issues that we saw today and in the previous game. So it's how they play and operate. I would also say you don't have to change your complete and utter philosophy to have good game management. And when you have a weaker team, when you have a weaker squad, there is more of an onus to do that in my opinion, especially when you're in the Premier League. And you probably, look, if I conservatively say Spurs have the 6th best squad, some will say it's lower, some might say it's higher, but let's just throw it in there for argument's sake. We don't need to fight over that. If you haven't got the number 1, maybe number 2, you've got to learn to change. Wait, when we go conservative to hold the score, yet we go not enough. We don't have the defense for it. We clearly see it. We let Wolves hold the ball. Yeah, I understand that, but there was still a lot of space to operate in. There was still too much space, in my opinion, for them to operate in. But I certainly hear your challenge there, my friend. Let's bring out the panel now. I thought Mo was joining us today. I'm not too sure where Mo is, but we've got V, we've got Hamza, we've got Kel. I don't know where Hamza. Oh, Hamza is in his green screen there. Kel, an important victory today for your team. Give me your thoughts on the performance and the win.
Oh, I don't care about the performance whatsoever. I'm just happy to finally get a win. This is the first time I've come on this show after a win. That's pretty exciting for me. Never thought I'd be saying that after like 2 months. But yeah, I just wanted a win. I really don't care how at this point. Just any kind of 3 points to get out of this rut. I mean, hopefully it leads to more wins, but we'll see. There's still definitely issues. Very happy for Savio today. He's been taking a lot of criticism. And he finally got his first goal. So that was exciting for him. And he got the assist on the Haaland goal. And Haaland, I thought, had a very good game. For once, he looked like he was interested. He was involved. He was pressing. He had a little counterattack going at one point. I think it's the end of the first half. But he looked very lively and into it. And I'm really happy for James McAtee. There's been a lot in the press this week about him wanting to leave.
Yeah.
I've been saying a lot that he probably should leave for his career because he had gotten no minutes of that. I think he'd played 2 minutes before today in the Premier League. So I was very happy to see him come on. And he contributed heavily to that second goal, which we desperately needed because this team has had a hard time keeping a clean sheet. And I was shocked they did today. I mean, well, Leicester had chances, though. If Vardy was 5 years younger, he definitely would have bagged one of those goals.
Yeah. No,
just happy to get a win.
No, and I agree. And listen, I think every City fan worth their salt knows that wasn't a perfect performance. A lot of the problems in the previous 12, 13 games were on view today. However, getting the win right now is very, very key to start building that confidence up again in your side.
Yeah, that midfield is definitely still a problem. I need somebody to win a duel. That would make my day. If somebody could actually win a duel for once.
Well,
and the back line still has problems, but
McAtee did, and this is, Hamza was saying the other day, there's no options left at the football club. McAtee was one of them. He come on today, and in 20 minutes, put in a performance that's above and beyond the majority of that midfield in the past 2 months.
Yep, I was excited to see it. We've just been crying to give him a chance. He's had a couple of chances in the cup games and hasn't really done much, but today he took his chance. And if he's going to get minutes, then I want him to stay. But if he's just going to be stuck on the bench, then it's probably best for his career to move on. But you could tell Pep was very happy with him at the end of the game. He gave him a big hug.
Yeah.
So, I hope we see more of him because I thought he brought what this team has been desperate for the past couple of weeks. That midfield has been absolutely dead, as I've said many times, and he brought some life to it. So happy to see it.
Absolutely. Obviously we've had a lot of conversations recently, a lot of poor results for your boys, but look, a positive one today, a clean sheet, first away win in 8 or 9 games. What was your thoughts on that performance and victory today, mate?
I'm trying to be really calm with it because it is Leicester at the end of the day, but we needed this win desperately. And when I saw the 11, I was like, you know what? Let's go out and get this. I'm happy with the performance overall with regards to the 11 that Pep selected, as well as the subs that he brought on. And when I'm watching these games, Terry, and I've said this to Mo kind of scoffs at it, but regardless of the opponent, I'm trying to see how my players continue to play through this adversity. I want to see how these players are going to try and work their way out of this terrible form. And a few games ago, I said, listen, why are my players gun shy? Why are my players not releasing passes? Why are my players not taking shots? The first goal is what I've been asking for. Take a shot. Someone other than KDB, take a shot. And Foden did that. Keeper tried to do his best, and obviously it resulted in Savio getting on board. And same thing. Like James McAtee came on, and it's the same. be aggressive, take on a player, cause the defense to have to react to something other than our standard pattern of play. And the criticism with regards to Pep, has he exhausted everything? Of course not. But has he not tried to make changes? Absolutely. He wasn't stuck in his ways and saying, you know what, it's the same 11 week after week. He's been trying to.
No, I agree with that. He's been trying things. I just didn't agree with Hamza's statement that he's tried everything and there's nothing else that can be done. So yeah, we agree on that completely. I think he's, and you know, I want to say this, V. The reason why people aren't taking those shots though, and I've had this conversation many times on the terrace about other teams when they're struggling, Man United for years, Arsenal. Ability is important. I don't think, and I've said this on many shows, that all these City players have lost their ability. Some of them, their legs have gone a little bit, you know, Ilkay Gundogan, KDB maybe. But I don't feel the ability. Yeah, but I don't feel the ability has left these players. What's gone is their confidence. And when you have a team that's struggling on confidence, they could be the best squad in the league. If they have a massive drop in confidence, they could become the 10th best squad. Like their ability can be impacted by the confidence. They don't take the shots. They don't take the chances with the through balls. They hesitate when they're... I mean, look at Guardiola defensively. That man, since you've signed him, by and large, has been amazing. I'd say in the last 2 months, he's made more mistakes than in the previous 18, 19 months combined. That's nothing to do with his ability. It's all to do with his head. And that's why I think wins are so important, because the wins are going to regenerate that confidence.
100%. And there's also been, and again, I can already picture all the rivals in the chat being like, shut up, Vator. What are you talking about? But we can't escape the injuries and the rotation. I happen to have witnessed and saw when Pep was doing, and all of you that do your fantasy football hated Pep doing this, but when he was doing his rotation or Pep roulette, right? You couldn't guess who he was going to start. And that was because he knew how to, when players were showing a little bit of mental fatigue as well as physical fatigue, I'm taking them out. We haven't had that liberty. I think Gavardiol has been unfortunate in terms of how often he's had to play left center back, as well as left back, left full back, left wing back. Like, he's been asked to do a lot. I think it's kind of caught up. But to go back to your earlier point with regards to confidence, this is what makes KDB absolutely amazing, is because he doesn't suffer from that. Whether he's just coming back off of injury, whether he's just been subbed on, he, in his mind, has the green light. And it's something that obviously you can't teach players to have. Like, confidence is something that you either grow to acquire. What just happened? What's the drama?
Mo Salah had a chance. The save from the West Ham goalkeeper, Areola, is just astronomically good. Poor from AWB, stop tracking Salah. Salah is 6 yards out, almost an open goal, barring the keeper. Good shot from him, but what a save from the goalkeeper. Sorry, I ended it, but that was amazing.
Only a matter of time in that game.
Well, in fairness, West Ham nearly scored a minute earlier. It was just end-to-end stuff. I hear you, what you're saying there, V, and I think that, look, injuries certainly play a part. There's no doubt. Again, I haven't denied any of that in the last few weeks. I give City the same courtesy that I'll give every other single team, because when you lose some of your best players to injuries, it certainly has an impact. Before I go to Hamza, Judge Mo, obviously the City game was on. Spurs dropped points as well today. Which of the two were you watching?
Only the City game. I just want to call out Vator. Can I ask you something, Vator, please? Yesterday, you were on the show with me, and you literally said that Rodri spoke about it's a fantastic show. Absolutely, with you. Always great with you. You called out the Arsenal fan base, and you emphasized what Rodri said about the mentality and them caving and them not playing progressive football and all the stuff. So did you think about the same thing today when you playing relegation fodder Leicester away from home, and you defended like champs in the second half, allowing Leicester to have 60% position? Or that was different because you were winning 1-0? Because Arsenal at that time, when you called them out yesterday, they were ahead of you in the league. So you were 1-0 against the relegation fodder Leicester, but Arsenal were away to the triple winners, Manchester City, and you wanted them to attack more and go out and expose themselves. But your manager today at 1-0 against a team that is mostly will get relegated, against a new manager, caved or turtled, and I'm using your words here, I'm quoting you, and defended with his life, with all the players behind the ball, against a 37 years old Jamie Vardy and the rest of them. So did you think about that, or Or that is different because it's Arsenal?
No,
or
it's
that is
different.
different because it's Arsenal? It's the
No,
same?
It is the same.
So City are allowed to defend and Arsenal are not?
Well, I'll answer that. I think about it all the time,
yes, please.
right?
Yes.
I think about it all the time, especially with regards to Arsenal, because for whatever reason, when they're reminded of the Rodri quote, they lose their minds. They're like, "How can he say that? We don't get it."
I get rattled by that statement all the time.
Yes, right, Kels? Now
Vator, forget about Arsenal fans. I'm asking you.
I'll address it.
Today you turtled and you defended with your life. Isn't that the same exactly when Arsenal were leading you? It's exactly the same. And the difference is you are playing 18.
Can I answer it, or do you want to answer your own question?
You're trying to rattle Arsenal fans.
I'm not trying to rattle anybody.
You're really trying to rattle Arsenal fans. You're saying they get touchy. What does this Arsenal fans have to do? You said that on my show. I'm not an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Okay. So
were you saying Pep needed to try something different? That's different.
So
no. See, the difference between me and Vator is that I actually uploaded Arsenal and I upload City for doing this today because at the end you needed to win a game.
This guy asked.
I actually upload City for doing this. I don't disagree with what City did today. It's fantastic. You, Kilk, said that Pep should drop the line, play deeper, defend. You said that. And I agree with you because it worked. Vator didn't like it when Arsenal did that. Go ahead.
So let me answer. The difference is, Mo, and I hope you can understand it. The difference is one club is leading the game, another club is trying to have a draw throughout the game. You're criticizing what Pep did today or what City did after going a goal up.
I didn't criticize them.
No,
so don't put words in my mouth. I never criticized
my
them.
apologies. You're not criticizing. You're trying to draw comparisons to when Rodri mentioned Arsenal playing for a draw, and today, because you're bringing it up, you're joining me on this post game about City being 1 goal up and then defending a lead, not trying to hold out for a draw because they're 1 point up in the league.
I tried to explain it more.
Guys, jump in a second here. What this is potatoes. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes teams are drawing and they're very happy to be pragmatic and try, because by the way, a lot of teams win nowadays in transition, or as I call it, the counter-attack. And do that, especially when you're up against a formidable City, where if you open up at their ground, especially, and you're too open, invariably you got absolutely ripped apart. The problem here, and Arsenal fans have gone through this recently with Chelsea fans calling them out, because Arsenal have become a much more pragmatic team at times in the last few years. They were a club whose fans were almost
sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. But the point I'm making is, Kel, is that as a fan base, they ripped into Chelsea in the mid-noughties for being a pragmatic team at times. Chelsea, by the way, attacked in a lot of their games, but in a lot of the big matches were very hard to beat and pragmatic. And Arsenal fans ripped into them. The reason why, as I've got older, I've tried my best to refrain from saying Pep's a coward today because he sat behind the ball at 1-0 and didn't go for the second goal, is at some point my club is going to play like that. And I just don't want the kind of questions Mo posed right now, because yes, there's different contexts, but at the end of the day, at times we all need, at times, whether it's injuries to a squad, going for a bad period in time, or you're against a superior team, there are times when every single one of us, we're all slagging off Spurs at the moment because they don't know when to be bloody pragmatic. And there are times when you have to be. It's as simple as that. So yeah, no, it is funny now watching City fans celebrate a win after being pragmatic. However, it was always going to happen at some point because that's the cycle of football. It's great. It's great.
The comparison between
it's the same thing, broski. It's the same thing.
If you see going into a game before a ball's have been kicked, playing for a draw versus City being a goal up and then playing for the win.
They were leading you in the league, going to your ground.
No, I get all that, but before the ball was even kicked, it was 0-0. They played for a draw with
and they were leading you in
the
league. Go back to the game today. Savio finally has an output. Oh wow, fantastic!
Two.
Was amazing.
Goal and assist.
Yes.
Erling Haaland finally is moving outside the 18, receiving the ball and dribbling past people. Surprise, surprise, Pep! Erling Haaland can do it. Just allow him to do it, my man. Just get Pep
crying for it.
Haaland the ball outside the 18. He can pass, by the way. He's not with crutches. He's not with crutches.
I will say as well, that goal that Haaland nearly scored, that goal he nearly scored where he took on about 3 or 4 players, there were so many YouTubers and content creators shitting their pants when he shot that ball after saying that he has no ability on it. It was very, very good, that was.
We knew that he has this ability. We knew. It's from Dortmund days.
Of course we do. This year says Judge Mo, City fans are shameless.
Whoa.
What?
Explain yourself.
I can't speak for Pete. I don't think City fans are shameless per se. We all kind of go through this. And I think City fans, like Gooners were for their brand of football under Wenger, you can become a little bit spoilt where you sit and you become one of the best and you dominate the ball and you're always the aggressor. And it becomes quite easy to point fingers and go, oh, you're cowards because you sat behind the ball today, or you didn't win, you didn't play proper. I'm not saying you've said this, but I'm giving you variations of what people say. You guys are cowards, or that isn't proper football. Yes, you won, but you parked the bus. You play terrorist football to win, fossil football to win. It's the thing is, it's very easy when you're on top of the tower playing the best football to point fingers and say that. But there are times that's the type of football, or certain times in games where you have to do that. And City did it very, very well today in the end. Yes, Leicester still opened them up. But if you weren't as pragmatic and there was even more space, they would have scored. They would have
scored if Vardy was a couple years younger.
Maybe.
He had chances today.
Kelk is the only one that said City should play pragmatic and deeper and defend with all the players.
She
said we should play on the counter attack. She said we should, and people were calling her in the chat. Why? Man City, Pep Guardiola doesn't play counter attack. It was like, but we want to win games. We just want to win at the end. That's what we care about.
I don't care what the performance is. I just want 3 points. I don't care. Big Marlon steal.
No, 3 points. I hear that. This here from AMT says, Terry mentioned that in the last 2 years, Arsenal have been pragmatic, but not defensive, right? I mean, it depends. Everyone seems to interpret it. When I say pragmatic, when I'm talking in a footballing context, that means sometimes you are defensive. That means sometimes you do commit a player or two less to attacks. It's about, I suppose, when I'm talking about being pragmatic, it's about managing in-game situations based on who you're playing, home or away, what the score is. When you went for that draw at City last year, look, you can always do, and you see this a lot, you can always go back and go, oh, if we'd have gone there and gone for the win and won it, we would have won the league. But you might have opened up on that day and got beat 3-0. That's the problem with that type of analysis is you don't know. Yes, you could have attacked that game and won. You could have attacked that game and lost, and you actually would have finished. You could have finished behind City by 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, and the gap would have seemed bigger. So you have to be pragmatic when you don't have the very best team, or if you don't have a team that is just superior to everybody else. I think it's going to be it's going to be a challenge if a manager can only play their brand versus a inferior team. Right? There's going to be instances where a manager needs to have confidence in his squad and not just look at his squad and be like, I have the best 11, so I can play my style. Sometimes a manager is going to have confidence to play his brand, even though on paper he doesn't have the best 11 versus the next 11, right? Yeah. So when we point out, and again, going back to defensive and pragmatic, I think of pragmatic when, okay, maybe you don't commit as many people inside an attacking corner. Maybe you don't commit as many people on a counter because you may leave yourself exposed. But defensive, we as City fans, we've always asked to be a lot more defensive in terms of how we're structured, how we track back. Yeah. And I happen to believe that there's to win the Prem, you have to show bravery. And I think Roger was just pointing out that they weren't in that instance. No, I agree. And bravery isn't always being the aggressor. Sometimes bravery is about sitting back and absorbing and allowing the other team to have the ball, because in that particular moment, it's the best thing for you. There's a lot of bravery that goes into that. Yeah. This super chat here says City fans are hypocrites. They also criticize Arsenal for defending with 10 men whilst leading the game. They did, to be fair. I do remember that. They did, to be fair. I guess some City fans did. And there's a lot of stones. There's a lot of stones.
Terry, I got to say, Kels, Hamza, and I, we speak to all the City fans. That's why we come on the Football Terrace. We speak to all of them, and none of them criticized Arsenal for defending with 10 men. We did criticize that they surrendered the possession the way they did, because they were just, honestly, they would get the ball and just fling it forward, and you can't give City 45 plus minutes to try and get an equalizer. So that was the emphasis. Again, we three talked to all of the City fans. That's the criticism.
Yeah, I hear you. Hamza, what did you make of today's win?
Leicester could have, would have, should have. Bro, at the end of the day, it took 0 points. It doesn't matter. I took the 3 points. That's what matters. It just, listen, I was happy first. Like, to me, first Savio scored the goal. And to me, I just want to say, like, listen, Savio scored a goal. Savio scored a goal. Dribbles like Ronaldo. Shoots like Rivaldo. Savio scored a goal. Mwah. Savio scored a goal. Thank you very much. All these stats about Savio didn't score. Oh, it's gone to the flow. No one cares about it. Savio was outstanding. Haaland was brilliant. When you had 1 in 13, we expected just a win. We just wanted a win. To me, I'm happy with the win. I don't mind how we win it because I know this season we're weaker. First 9 games were brilliant. Last 9 games were poor. There's a lot of factors going on to it. But today's performance was like, listen, this is what the City team that I've seen before. They grind out result. They win that when they're not playing comfortably. That's what I expect. Not making mistakes. I know there's few mistakes that Vator tried to make, whatever it is. Thank God they didn't score. We kept a clean sheet in that stadium. You know, kept a clean sheet. Liverpool played them last time. Us Liverpool fans. They played well against Liverpool. They scored against Liverpool. We kept a clean sheet. I think it was outstanding. I think I'm happy today that Pep Guardiola, all these rant about, oh, we can't win a game, or Leicester gonna beat us, or City. Listen, it's now we've turned it around. The season could start like from now on. City have moved from 7th, where I've not seen City for a long time. Like last time was 7th, I think it was before we signed Diaz, I remember. And now we've come back from that, and now we're 5th. We're pushing for that position game by game. I think the performance by the Haaland was outstanding. I think Haaland was brilliant. Especially, he lost the confidence the last game. He came in today. He was working very hard. Phil Foden, I think he had a good game. I think KDB won his best.
Don't lie now. Don't lie.
I
don't
thought
lie.
Foden had a sticker. That's why he got
lying now. Don't lie.
I think Phil Foden beginning. Start the game. Yeah, start the game.
He had one shot.
I don't think it was a good game.
Hamza, I've got a few questions
That's why he
for you,
got the
Hamza.
hook instead of KDB.
Yeah, Hamza, I've got a few questions for you. You said that 3 points all that matters. Are you talking in general in football, that's all that matters, or are you talking specifically about the context of your situation now?
The context in the situation, I think 1 in 13, making mistakes when you're winning and we're conceding goals. Some games you just, like United game, you make individual errors, cost you that game, you lose that game. Poor United side. You make an error against, what's the name, Everton. They couldn't have scored that goal. But these little errors, Sporting Lisbon, 2 penalties you gave away, final, individual mistakes. I'm glad.
Yeah, Vardy's had a lot of those lately.
Yeah, Vadio, Walker.
And Nunes.
Yeah, they've been responsible for a lot of the individual mistakes. Within Aston Villa, 15 seconds. Remember that? We gave the ball.
Yeah.
But that individual mistake.
Why do you feel, Hamza, though? Why do you personally feel there's been so many mistakes in this bad run?
I said it before. I think squad fatigue. And I think when you don't have a big quality, the small squad quality, like Pep Guardiola is happy with his 15, 16 top quality players. I think it's beaten Pep Guardiola badly. Because you can't keep playing those players for 3 years in a row every 3 days. You can't do. I look at most team. I look at my defense when I open Man City squad. It's a joke. It's like
if you don't increase your I get your point. If you don't increase your squad size this summer, the fact that you're not going to get a preseason because of the World Club Cup, are you concerned about how you will perform next season because you're going to have no break? If the squad doesn't get bigger in terms of its size, you might sell some and buy some. If your squad size stays the same, a summer of playing competitive football and no preseason, are you not concerned about how you'll be able to win the league next year as well, based on what you've just said?
I think they'll improve it. I think the fact that they're going to the market with 3 players in January, City have never done that. It shows you.
When I see it.
It shows you, exactly. They've put their hand up.
What you're saying, Hamza, it's not about... So the size of the squad doesn't bother you, it's the quality of that squad. Or does the size matter?
Yeah, because... There's no point of having player like S1 Brand, part of your 8 defenders, and you never play him. Yeah, Kyle Walker is aging, and you keep him there, and he's full of mistakes. Aken Stones, there's another problem there. You have to make a decision: who stays, who goes, who stays, because you can't have Stones missing this many games. So City have to make a very careful decision. Midfield, the engine of that midfield is not there. Look at the pressing. Let me give you one thing. Look at the pressing.
So bad
Look
today.
at Guardiola's position whenever he played football. His team at Barca, Bayern, they used to press within 6 seconds. They had this 6 or 7 seconds rule. Whenever they lose the ball, 7 seconds they'll get the ball back. It happened at City. There's a statistic that's just come out now. Yeah, that's proved. As the players have aged, they cannot press. Look, how can oh my God, how can Leicester City come out the press? I used to remember, Terry, Aguero will stand there. Leroy Sané is Sterling there. The keeper had the ball.
Hamza, I hear you. I hear you. But I don't want to get away. Hamza, I hear you, but I want to get a straight answer from you. So, are you concerned if the squad size doesn't improve, or the squad quality doesn't improve? Which is the most important?
The most important is the quality. Quality, and it has to be 21, 22 top quality.
So it isn't. So Pep Guardiola's squad size isn't the problem. Then it's your squad just isn't good enough. Is what you're essentially saying?
There's been some poor purchases quality wise recently.
No, I'm just trying to get a rounded answer because I'm trying to make sure the viewers understand exactly what's being said. Look, all three of you plus obviously V was here. I want to thank you for coming on. The same as all of our viewers. We're going to be live again after West Ham versus Liverpool. So make sure you're back with us. This stream is going to redirect you to Hassam's channel for his watch along. So go and support him there. Go and give him a like, go and subscribe. And we're back in about an hour and a half or so. Thank you all for coming on, Kel, Hamza, Mo, and V. Until next time. I know, I did it at the start, but I've got to watch this game. It's so close today. It's mad. So take care. Goodbye. God bless. Peace.